Hey, super short intro.
Wow, I was expecting some music. It's a good thing I wasn't like,
you are always doing that.
Yeah.
What's up, Rob?
Hey,
What's
buddy.
up, everybody? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you are checking in on the replay, we are live every Monday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rob, what do we got on deck for today before we talk about our weekends and such and such?
Yeah, hey everybody, thanks for joining. We've got a fun. We went back to 2005, John, to check out the 40-Year-Old Virgin. We haven't done a comedy on this show in I don't remember the last time maybe Howard the Duck. I would contend nothing of it was funny. So that was
it's funny that we watched it.
Right.
In the last 2 years, we all watched Howard the Duck.
And it's really weird because I think you and I quite enjoy comedies. I think this show is oftentimes very comedic because we're idiots. And so, but this is the first one we jumped into with a comedy. So we did a rewatch and we're going to discuss the 40-Year-Old Virgin as well. We're going to talk about what's new in the story Heroes World. And we got some news bits as well to round up from the week. So that's what's on tap for today. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. It's nice and beautiful outside, eh? I had to take the kids out for a walk earlier.
Yeah.
As soon as they saw this weather, they're like, "Hey, can we go outside?"
And you're like, "No."
Yeah.
I had the fun pleasure of going to Home Depot on the weekend and buying a bunch of grass seed and topsoil stuff. Now, I was in a very tight crunch, John. Listen, man, these thumbs are made for gaming and other things. They're not made for greenery. And so I didn't, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm grabbing. So I just grabbed some topsoil stuff, but I don't know if it was manure. I don't know. All I know is I put it down on that Saturday. It was quite warm outside, if you remember. And holy shit, my front lawn stank. I was like, what is happening? My eyes were burning. I was like, maybe I picked up some industrial strength stuff. I have no idea, but we'll see what happens to the grass.
You picked up the wrong stuff. I got a whole bunch of dead grass, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do the same thing, resurrect, or as some people like to do, they just scorch the whole earth and roll out new rolls of sod. Or you could plant your entire. I've seen people do their entire backyards of just patio stones and rocks. So
dude, you saw my backyard. I've shown you photos. Part of my backyard is fake grass, man.
Yeah. Artificial turf. Yeah, I used to make fun of those guys out in the front porch washing off their lawn, and I'm like, I don't know, that'd be pretty sweet. I don't have to mow it, I don't have to weed it. Weeding it is the most annoying thing ever. But thank you, everybody, for coming to the show. How was your weekend? So if you guys got a chance to check anything out this weekend, there's a big movie that I think a lot of us saw, so maybe we'll briefly mention that we saw that movie. And there's always new stuff on streaming. We'll have to do an episode once, Rob, where we kind of rank our streaming services. It's like, if you had to keep only one, which one would it be, and that kind of stuff.
That's tough.
It's crazy, all the content that's dropping. So Rob, how was your weekend? And I assume you got to see Doctor Strange. It looks like Sarah got to see Doctor Strange as well.
Yeah, I did. I saw it on Friday night. The boy and I went. It was a boys' weekend. My wife and daughter were away for a dance competition all weekend, so it was guys' weekend. Do you know Mr. Beast, John? You know the online? Yeah, he's got these pop-up burger shops. They have one in my neck of the woods, and so my son said, "Can we get Mr. Beast burger?" And I said, "Oh my god! First of all, it's expensive as all hell, but I gotta say, it wasn't that bad." Yeah. John, I've been on a pretty strict, healthy food intake diet the last couple of months. This blew that out of the water, and my gut was not happy with me, but I got to say it wasn't that bad. So I did that. I watched Doctor Strange on Friday night. I also checked out, I went back in time, John, to 2008, and I decided to rewatch The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, which...
Edward Norton one. Okay, I thought for some reason, I thought we were talking about the Ang Lee one last week. And I've never seen the Ang Lee one. I have seen the Edward Norton one, and I did own it on Bluray. I think I gave it away to somebody. But I don't mind that one. How does it stand up in 2020?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's still, the biggest problem for me was always twofold. One, The Hulk it looks bizarre. He looked better than the Ang Lee Hulk, I will say, but he just still looks bizarre. And number two, it's not Brooklyn. I've been to the Zanzibar, John, way back in my younger days, my single days. I know that's
there yesterday.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn does not have Sam the Record Man, so that always irritates me. But aside from that, yeah, it holds up quite well. I actually quite enjoy it because I'm a big fan, John, of that 78 to 82 TV series. So I'm down for watching it. So yeah, I watched that. I finished off The Right Stuff on Disney Plus. I think I watched a documentary, but I don't know, whatever. Lots of things to watch. A lot of new shows came out, John, that I'm waiting for them to finish. Like there's a new season of Bosch called Bosch Legacy. They dropped the first 4. And then it's 2 episodes every Friday. I'm just going to wait until all 10 are out so I can crush that. But what about you, my friend? What did you get up to this weekend?
Yeah, so I also got to see Doctor Strange in theaters. I went on a Thursday night, which was kind of bonkers. It didn't make for a great Friday morning, but it was. I think it was definitely worth it because spoilers were already starting to drop first thing Friday morning.
Yeah,
you're scrolling through your feed. It's crazy. So anyone who hasn't seen it, good luck. It'll be pretty sweet if you can somehow avoid all the spoilers and seeing anything about it. It'll be a pretty sweet watch. If not, it'll still be fun.
But there are things that you don't want spoiled. That's the reality, right? So
yeah. There's a storyline, so you do want to keep that under wraps if you can. But it's getting pretty hard in this day and age. So shout outs to anyone who's going to manage to go spoiler free and see it like a week later. I think Lewis and Fraser might be on that train. So what's up, Scott? I see Scott in the chat talking about the Illuminati. Shh, we're going to keep that all on the down low. We will be covering Doctor Strange at some point, but we're going to give adequate time for people to go and watch that. I've just been watching a lot of TV shows, Rob. We Own This City. Episode 2 dropped. It's been a fun show. It is. You do have to sit down and watch it. You can't put it on in the background. There's some time jumps going on like that. Same thing with. I'm also watching Tokyo Vice, so I think HBO/Crave would probably be my MVP list. I watched one episode of The Flight Attendant. I don't know if anyone watches that show. With Kaylee Cuoco, Penny from Big Bang Theory. It actually was pretty intriguing. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to balance all these shows at once. So
wait, how is Tokyo Vice? Because I was going to start that last night, and then I decided to just forego it. So how is it?
It's very similar to We Own the City and The Wire. So it's along those lines, but with the Tokyo slant. And the cast is pretty good. I don't know if Ansel Elgort is out of everybody's bad books yet or not. I don't know what he did. I didn't follow it, but he's pretty good in the show. He speaks Japanese. I guess he is fluent in Japanese. Otherwise, it's a pretty good display of him speaking Japanese. So if you like the feel of like The Wire and We Own the City, and you want something a little kind of more in depth, and you want to see like the seedy underbelly of Tokyo, definitely check that one out.
So Gordon says Tokyo Vice almost lost him. He's waiting to binge it. I believe the season finale has just dropped in the last couple of days. So
this show, there's so much going on. I think it would benefit from you being able to watch it all at once. They're kind of going all over the place with people's storylines and things like that. Whereas We Own the City, I think you want to watch an episode, take it in, maybe go back and rewatch it. They kind of do a lot of time jumping. And I did watch. Yeah,
you and I watched something. The new Star Trek, Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I was going to mention that. I think that show looks spectacular. I think we might end up doing some coverage for it later, so we won't go too in depth. But if anyone watched it, it is available on Crave and I think on Paramount one of the Paramount Plus and one of the other TV apps or something, and you can watch it with ads. Maybe someone told me that. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't confirmed it yet. But I liked it. I really like it. Captain Pike seems like a pretty cool dude. So Rob, did you enjoy it? I know you're not like hardcore to Trek.
Yeah, I'm not a super hardcore Trek guy. I haven't watched any of Picard yet. I just binged Discovery. I think I mentioned that a couple weeks ago. But I really enjoyed Strange New Worlds. I was like, wow. It's, you know what, man? It's colorful and it's bright. and it's like, it looks like a hell of a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed that first episode. So I'm quite looking forward to watching episode 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like a lot of the Trek, I tried Picard. I actually kind of liked the first episode, and I didn't stick with it. It didn't hook me enough. But this one is Ooh.
Orphan Black. I've never. Okay, so Gorgeous says I still can't believe I've never watched Orphan Black. Dude, neither have I at all. Maybe we should try to do something to do like a watch of Orphan Black. I saw one episode when it first came out, and I was like, nah, I have no time for this. Lewis says there's no Paramount Plus in Canada. There is, my friend. I have it. I have way too many streaming services. You can actually now get Paramount Plus on Prime, on Amazon Prime channels. You can subscribe through there.
Yeah. I think it's like an extension or something. He might be saying the show is not on Paramount Plus Canada.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we all watched it in Crave, and it's on Paramount Plus in USA.
Yeah.
But yeah, so shout outs to Sarah and Gord, who sat dead center in the Doctor Strange. Yeah, so everybody in the Doctor Strange club, keep it under wraps for now.
Yep.
Sarah asked if you can stand up and watch it or only sit down. Some shows are so intense, I feel like you do have to stand up and just kind of like stand there watching it. I've done that a number of times. Fraser said he's watching Scrubs again. I absolutely love Scrubs. If we ever did like a rewatch, they did a whole rewatch podcast going from episode 1 with Zach Braff and Don LaFaison. Great podcast, and you get to go through every single show with them. It's pretty cool. So a lot of people saying Flight Attendant is good. So I guess we'll all have to get to that. Let me see if there's anything else. I did watch a couple episodes of Ozark. If anyone's on the Ozark train,
I have to do that. I need the time to sit and watch it.
It's hella intense. So you got to sit down. I do question the whole break in the seasons. I feel like it did lose a lot of momentum, but they have a big kind of like last time on Ozark recap at the beginning. So it gets you in there pretty good.
Well, I just finished watching it in April, right? So I'm still fresh in my mind, so I'm good with that.
Yeah. Gord said he rewatched a bunch of old ones: Lost Girl, Continuum, 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys is a TV show or a movie? It was a TV show.
It was a movie, right? And then they did a TV show of it, but I never watched it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Looks like we're getting all right. And I don't know if anyone watched anything else new. Was there anything new that came out that you wanted to watch? Rob, did you hear about that Batman podcast?
Yes.
Something it's like David Goyer and stuff like that.
David Goyer wrote it. I'm trying to think the actor the guy who plays M'Baku in Black Panther. Is it Wilson Duke or Winston Duke? I think is his name. Winston Duke. He is the voice, I believe, of Batman in this podcast. And it knocked out Joe Rogan's experience off the top of the number one podcast. Which
is bonkers, right? Joe Rogan has been king for I don't know how long. So Unburied. Yeah, Batman Unburied. I listened to the first episode and it was pretty different. Like it's kind of a different take on Batman. So I think people should definitely check it out. And the production value was like
okay. So is this like a book? Because I mean, I know there was a Wolverine podcast, and this and that. Like, is this like a book on tape? Because you're a big Audible guy. I've never done it. I listen to a lot of different podcasts. Actually, right now I listen to a lot of political podcasts, but I've never done like a books on tape thing. So is this kind of what these Batman and like the Wolverine ones are? These what these podcasts are? Kind of like
I haven't checked out the Wolverine one, but it depends on how the book is read. Like so, some of the Jack Reacher books we've talked about, some of them are first person narrative, some of them are third person narrative. This one is very much like a radio play. So they have a different person doing each of the voices. They don't have a narrator describing what's going on. People kind of just talk about what they're doing and stuff like that. And they even
it's like old school radio.
Yeah. They do a little throwback to the whole Grey Ghost thing, which was from the Batman animated series. It's one of the kind of like fake ads in it, but it was pretty interesting. Listen, and it looks like it's a pretty different take on Batman. So I think if anyone is working on whatever or going for a jog or doing a run or something, you might want to put on some Batman Unburied.
All right, I'll have to get
a listen. So shout out to 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys was on the short list for one of our podcasts, I think. But we had issues finding it on streaming services. So I've never seen it. So and it's got two of my favorite people in it, Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. So let's go.
We'll keep it in our wish list once it comes back up. We'll add it to this show.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks everybody for sharing your weekend with us. Thanks, Rob, for catching us up. I feel like you didn't read any full books this time.
Oh my God. Yeah. I actually
finished this guy.
I finished. I started. Wait, what was I reading last week? It was Death of Captain America. So I finished that, and then I started the Batman Capullo Volume 2 Omnibus, and I finished it. I finished it this week, and then I just started up. I'm now onto a fiction book. I'm giving my omnibuses a bit of a break. I've got a lot that I have to get to, but I started up Andy Weir, who did The Martian. He's got a new book out called Project Artemis, and I just started.
You're all about the space lately, eh? You're doing
I don't know what's going on.
Stuff.
So, anyways, I'm about 26 pages in, and so far it's riveting. I'm quite enjoying it. So, but I crushed that Batman Volume 2 Omnibus, which is like the first one is like 1,200 pages or so, and the second one was like 900 and something. So, I just consumed it.
Okay, so omnibus, I've never been an omnibus guy. I like the trade paperbacks because what I do is I throw them in my bag or whatever and read them standing up at the airport or whatever.
Right.
What's your choice of reading for the omnibus? Is it at like the kitchen table maybe and the kids are doing their homework, or is it on your couch, or is it in front of the computer?
Yeah, well, so I will sit on the couch and I hold it and I'll read it, with one hand, and I'm flipping the pages. Sometimes I do sit at the kitchen counter. I lay it flat on the counter. If I'm like cooking or if I'm barbecuing, and I can easily read a couple pages, go out, flip, the chicken over, come back in. I can do that. Sometimes I'll sit at my desk here, and when I need a break, I push everything off and I'll sit and read at my desk. So there's I can't take it to the bathroom. With a trade paperback, you can bring it into the can with you, and you can read it.
George Costanza problem.
And you can sit there and
this book has been flagged, sir.
Right, and omnibus is way too heavy. It's cumbersome to be in the toilet with. It's you can't do it. So. But yeah, no, I like to.
So what you're saying is you need a contraption that you can wheel over and read your omnibus on the toilet.
Well, funny enough, I actually have a stand that props up, and I can put it on there, like it's like one of those easel type things, and I can actually put it on there and read it if I wanted to. Which maybe I will again. I haven't done that.
Yeah. So shout out to Scott. He says he likes to read in bed at night. So I guess Scott does his reading, before he goes to bed or something like that. If anyone else is like an avid reader, I'm definitely like to know when and kind of where you read your books and stuff like that. I've never gotten into it. I've always done the audiobook, so it's always been in my car stuck in traffic or while I'm doing whatever. So yeah, shout outs to you guys. I've seen those people build those little book nooks or whatever. Like they'll tear apart the closet and build like a bench and then like all these shelves. I'm like, that seems cool, but I feel like I'd be getting up walking around all the time. So
yeah, so I've got a lot. And you guys, are you showcasing any Omnis this week?
We did get a bunch of stock, but I didn't decide to pick any of them this week. But we did get the Jason Aaron omnibus for Thor. We got Moon Knight Volume 1 and 2. We're getting stuff like all the time so fast that I can't even keep up with it. So I'll have to do a big photo shoot for all the stuff we've got in. So if you guys are looking for that stuff, definitely hit me up. We're selling them all for US cover price in Canadian. So most of them are around $100, $125 for a big Mamma Jamma edition. And if you aren't local, I'll ship them out to you, no problem.
And I'm just going to say this. I ordered one from you. It was the Uncanny X-Men Omnibus. Hang on. Volume 2, John. This is the Volume 2, right?
It's classic.
I got this from you. It was expertly packed. It was shipped. There was no issues. Sometimes when you're buying from people, you never know, and it didn't come. But I'm bringing this up, John. Do you still have the other copy at the store?
I still have. Yeah, okay. I still have both covers for that one.
If you guys are like wondering, like, oh, should I pick this up? I'm gonna tell you guys right now. This is like out of print. You cannot get this anywhere right now, and it's a hot commodity, is sought after. So if you're thinking about picking up, I think you also have Volume 1 at the store. But if you're thinking about picking them up, pick up Volume 2, man.
I do have, yeah. Some of these older vintage books, they were written in a different style, so you can just kind of hop on wherever. Yeah. And you know what? You can't knock all the resources online. So now you can go back in the day when we were kids, you can go online and just find out what happened in a story arc or why this character is this way or whatever. So there's all these resources. So don't worry about jumping into a book. Some people get caught up in the volume ones. Like Rob said, I've had people ask me for certain omnibuses, and they're out of print and they're like, oh, I saw it for $600 on Amazon. Can you order it? I'm like, well, I can't order it right now. Maybe it'll come back and cycle into print. But yeah, it gets a little crazy. So shout out to Fraser who says, Rob, you should sit backwards on your toilet.
I've tried.
Maybe your toilet is not big enough.
Do so. Anyways, Uncanny X-Men Volume 2. Guys, get in touch with John and pick it up because it is out of print now.
Yeah. And they reprint a lot of vintage stuff. A lot of people like to see the vintage stuff. So it's got that kind of old school flavor. And sometimes you don't have to read the whole thing. Rob likes to tank these. Some of those ones you could flip to a certain issue and just read that issue. So I'll talk a little bit about what else we got going on at the store. The new books, if you are interested, are posted on our socials every Monday. I accidentally posted it Sunday night because I hit the wrong button. So it was there a little bit early. But Facebook and Instagram, Heroes World Online. We do have the Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood #1 coming in this week. I'm looking forward to that. Also, the new Captain America #1, Symbol of Truth, I believe it's called. So there's a lot of good books to read if you are into the monthly floppies, as we like to call them. And like Rob said, we get tons of omnibuses and trade paperbacks all the time. So I'm going to try to do my best to post more pictures of them. Some other things I wanted to show you, Rob. Iron Studios. We keep talking about Iron Studios keeps knocking these statues out of the park. Right in the sweet spot of affordability and movie licenses. So I'm going to show you a couple statues coming out. These are all 1/10 scale, folks. So they're only going to cost you $160 US each. So about $200 Canadian. But there's some pretty sweet sets. So this one here, you'll recognize these two characters. A movie we saw, Rob. It does beg the question: do they need to get these out sooner? Like, when did we see this movie? Did we see
November?
It before the new year?
It came out in November.
Yeah, it came out in November. It dropped on streaming this year. It does. January, for me, it popped up after I finished watching Moon Knight. It did pop up Eternals recommendation.
Yeah, it kept every time the end of each episode, it kept saying we recommend watching the Eternals. I'm like, all right, enough of this, man. Stop pushing it on me, Disney.
Yeah. So these are two of the more the Angelina Jolie character and a Salma Hayek character. I think one is Circe or
Cersei and
no, she's not Circe. She's some, I don't remember what they're called. But I wanted to show you that they're doing a whole set. So if you're into this movie, this is really cool. There's like there was a ton of characters in this movie. So it's neat that they actually included these two kind of fringe characters that aren't technically Eternals, or are they? No, Angelina Jolie character wasn't Eternal.
She was. Yeah, all 9 of them are Eternals. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this would be a really cool display. If you wanted to go crazy, you can do the math, folks. 160 times however many characters are on there. Did you have a favorite character from this movie, Rob? Like, if you had to just pick one, would you pick one of these?
I really like the Speedster. I like how they did her speed. So I'll go.
Oh yeah. I did like that guy who played Icarus. I forgot. I think he's the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I did like that character. I didn't really like his overall story arc.
Yeah.
But I thought he looked really cool, and then you could have really had a Superman thing going on. And I'm going to show you another one here. I don't know if you recognize this guy.
Nope, never seen him before in my life.
Never seen this guy before, or this guy.
Wow, look at that. That's like that's Raimi Spider-Man 1.
Yeah. And then there's a third one.
Wow.
So there is 3 Spider-Mans.
I see what they're doing.
Crazy.
John.
Now you have a whole set. So what they're doing is they're dropping like multiple characters, so you can build a whole scene. They've done this for a lot of the TV shows and some of the other movie stuff. So this is pretty cool. These are all slated for release sometime next year. They're not as behind in production as companies like Hot Toys and things like that. So we will see these sooner rather than later. But this would be pretty cool. Would you put these Spider-Mans up, or would you choose your favorite?
No, I think if you wanted to recreate it, I would. Listen, there's nothing wrong with choosing your favorite because all 3 of these poses are amazing. To be honest with you, I think my favorite pose right now is the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man that we're looking on the right. Like out of these 3, but I would totally get all 3 of these and put them together. I think they would look just fantastic. You get a nice like a background, like a backdrop, a screenshot from the movie or whatever, and you put that. I think it would be great.
Yeah. Or I guess they didn't do the Photoshop, but a nice like an antique table with like some vases behind it, something funny like that they would come up with. But that's it. That's all I wanted to show you coming up for pre-orders, and we'll have a whole bunch of new stuff at the shop. So definitely come check us out, and you can hit me up if you're looking for any of these things or want to know prices or release dates and all that kind of stuff. So I'll hook you up. But let me kick it over to Rob. He's going to talk about some breaking news, new geek fun stuff that happened over the course of the weekend, or is it all from today?
All from last week. No, a little bit from last week, and then over the weekend. But before, Steve wanted to know what the height.
They're 1/10 scale.
1/10 scale. So
So I think we had a picture here. Let me see. So this one says it's about like 10 inches and a bit with the base. Obviously, this is a more elevated one. Yeah. So you're looking at slightly bigger than an action figure. but slightly smaller than a Hot Toys. So somewhere in the middle range.
They're good size. You know what? I got this Batman.
Don't break anything.
Yeah, which I'm known for. Here, I have my screen covered because I've got the. Okay, that's a 1/10 scale. I got this from John. In fact, I think he sent it from my
Michael Keaton Batman.
Michael Keaton Batman. So, like, yeah, there you go. I mean, that's a 1/10. That's a good size figure. So, 10 inches. I would say that this is 2.5 feet, Scott, but that's me. All right.
10 inches. All right. Sarah says 10 inches is a good size. So, all right.
Yeah.
Just talking about statues, right? All right.
I would hope so. I have no idea. That gourd. All right. Hey, John. Hey, man, what are your thoughts on Viola Davis as Amanda Waller in the DCEU? What do you think?
I would say underutilized would probably be my description, right?
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. Although if you think back, we saw her in Batman vs. Superman. We saw her in Suicide Squad. We saw her in The Suicide Squad. And again, in The Peacemakers, we've seen her through 4 projects. But guess what, John? We're going to be seeing a lot more of Davis's Amanda Waller as HBO Max has greenlit a Waller spin-off show, which will be produced by James Gunn. Now, back in January, Gunn had stated that he was working on another DCEU spin-off show from the Suicide Squad, and a lot of speculation at the time of which character I wanted to see. Polka Dot Man. I gotta admit, I never considered Amanda Waller as part of that spin-off series. So, John, is this something you're looking forward to? Are you kind of excited to see Viola Davis reprising her Amanda Waller role?
Yeah, I think she does really well in the role. She plays it very kind of cold-hearted, B word, I guess you would call it. But Scott does say we don't need a Waller spinoff. So if she is the main focus of this, I question that. But if you're going to throw in some other players and it's an ensemble cast, then I think it'll work. But I feel like Waller is like kind of like, Glory is that she comes in, does some badass stuff, and then she's out. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, in an office style comedy, would you want to see her in a Steve Carell like role?
No, it'd be really funny. What was that? Undercover Boss. That's what.
Yeah.
Hey, John. The last number of months, we've been talking about the Quantum Leap reboot. Well, we got good news last week, my friend, because NBC has given a series order for this new show to debut in the fall. Apparently, the executives enjoyed the pilot that we shot quite a bit and wanted more of it. So, I mean, I know that this is something that's been on my radar, John. I've been talking about this for a number of weeks. I'm super excited that this is coming back to NBC. I don't remember the last time I watched a network TV show, so this is going to be a first for me in a while. But, John, the original series wasn't really your thing. I think it was a bit before your time, quote unquote. No pun intended. But as this show progresses, does it pique your interests?
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't get to watch it on a regular basis, but whenever it came on, I did enjoy watching it. I like the formula of this show where you hop into some type of situation, you got to correct that situation. I think I'm really missing things that are episodic. So I'm looking forward to. I don't know if it's going to do this format though. So I think I read the synopsis for the new show. It might not follow the kind of like, oh, hop in, do something, hop to the next person. But yeah, Rob, how excited are you? Do you want them to go and find Scott Bakula?
Yeah, Dr. Sam Beck. Well, that's part of the premise, right? Is that he is still out there missing, and that these physicists have decided to pick up and continue his project in hopes of trying to find him. So, I think Lewis said he doesn't think Scott Bakula is going to be in it at any point. I think he will be involved, but I don't think we should be expecting to see him anytime soon. It might be one of those like season finale type things where they happen to maybe run into him in the past. So I'm super excited for it. I actually am very looking forward to watching this. So, which means
you think they'll use the old theme song?
I think they will, but maybe it won't be as pop synthy.
Yeah, it'll be like a trap remix.
That's right. Skrillex will have redone it. Yeah,
that's a dubstep remix. Not a trap.
Sorry.
Very similar.
Okay, whatever, man. This past weekend, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness raked in $185 million at the box office, John. Now, we are going to be reviewing it, as you said, in the coming days. The movie was directed by Sam Raimi, Well, another movie directed by Sam Raimi, John, was Darkman, which came out in 1990 and starred Liam Neeson. Now, during Doctor Strange press that Raimi was doing, he let slip that Universal Pictures was developing a legacy sequel to Darkman. Now, it's not clear if Raimi will be involved at all, but John, are you excited to see a sequel for Darkman, knowing, my friend, that there was already a Darkman 2 that went straight to video with Arnold?
I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. I feel like there's a bunch of them. And
I think there's a TV series. I think they did Darkman, Darkman 2, and then they made it on like a small limited TV series. But I don't know, man. Are you excited for this?
Yeah. Like as a kid, I remember there were sequels, but we didn't have access to them. Like we were like, oh, the video's not at the video store. So basically, you were SOL in watching this,
right?
But I pulled this picture of the mask and stuff. I don't know, Rob. I don't know if this is gonna work. I did quite enjoy the last couple Sam Raimi things that we have watched. But I don't know. I'd be very surprised if this works. But yeah, maybe they take a twist on it. Maybe it was too superhero-y, and then they go darker. They kind of like do an
darker Darkman.
Yeah. Darker Darkman. The darkest. I don't know. The darkest Darkman. I don't know what you call it.
Wouldn't it be funny if they do like a play on words like the Darkman Returns?
Oh man, that would be fantastic. I think that's a pocket. If they lean into that and it's a kind of semi-comedy horror parody,
right?
Then they've got something. Michelle shouts out Ash versus Darkman. But I feel like a lot of the Army of Dark. Someone told me that Ash TV show is actually pretty good. So maybe now this thing brought into current environment and they're allowed to get darker with it. It's funny how many times we can say dark and associated with Darkman. But maybe it'll work. Like, have you watched this movie anytime recently, Rob? I think it was on a short list one time when we were going to try and rewatch.
It was on one of our short lists, and I don't think it's streaming anywhere anymore. But we got to put it back on when it comes back out. That and 12 Monkeys. But yeah, it's been. God, John, I don't know. The problem is, I think, it's only been a few years, and I realized we're in 2022. So it might have been 20 years since I've seen this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since my youth, and I remember not being terribly happy with it. I remember going, "Oh man, the cool cover and all this stuff," and it's a superhero movie, and watching it, and yeah, I remember not liking it, and I'm probably mixing it up with The Shadow in my head.
They're kind of similar in their fedoras and trench coats.
Gord, I'd like to know if you watched it recently and if you can vouch for it. But yeah, darker man. So yeah, let's see. I don't know if Gord watched the TV show as well. I don't know what type of archive Gord's got going on in his apartment. Great.
You know what? Gord's kind of like Johnny Mnemonic, but for television series. He just plugs into the back of his head and then.
Okay, Gord reports back that Dark Knight did not hold up at all. So
all right. All right. So moving on. Hey, John, we got a bunch of trailers this past week. I'm going to give a quick rundown, including Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which I got to tell you, I cannot wait to watch. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the animated Green Lantern, Beware My Power with Jon Stewart. That looks actually hella cool. The Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. We saw a teaser for Paper Girls, which is coming to Amazon Prime later this year. Avatar 2, The Way of Water came out today. But this one, John, Cobra Kai, Season 5. They released their trailer last week. I know you were super excited for this because it also gave us a release date of September the 9th, John.
It's early.
Dropping. It is super. I was shocked. I thought it was going to be like another December thing. So, John, I know you're stoked for a Cobra Kai. I mean, that's just a given. You can't wait for Season 5. I'm quite actually excited for Season 5 myself. We know Season 6 was already filmed as well. So, okay,
that's why they're pushing it forward. Someone told me it was because all that dismal Netflix report and all their loss of subscribers, why they're doing it. But if they film 2 back to back, it makes sense that they should try and drop one on the ASAP. And if the show is doing well, get those out on the as quickly as possible. We saw the big age up gap when we watched Season 4. A lot of the kids were borderline unrecognizable. Yeah, you're like, what? that's that kid. So they're growing fast. So it makes sense that they fast track this. We didn't really get to talk about season 4 much. We didn't do any coverage, but it started off not the greatest for me, but it really closed out strong, I feel.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to this season 5. Are you happy that it's here early, Rob, or would you rather prefer
No, I'm
longer
cool. I'm cool.
drop around the holidays?
Well, I mean, it is always nice that I'm not going to be here around that time. So yeah, sure, drop it around September. That's fine. Out of the other trailers I mentioned, John, anything else giving you a little bit of wood?
I didn't watch any of them. Wait, did I watch? No, I saw the Avatar one. The Avatar trailer played at the beginning of Doctor Strange. If you saw Doctor Strange in 3D, and I don't get it yet. It's a lot of blue people running around. Like I said, I've stated it here. I have not seen the first one, so I guess I'm gonna have to go and watch that first one. But when I talk to people, I get very mixed reviews, Rob. Like some people are like, "Oh, it was great at the time. Watch it in 3D." Some people are like, "It's overhyped." So I don't know what to think of this right now. I think there's rumors that it might go back to theaters, in 3D or something like that. So maybe that'll work, but I don't know. But the Cobra Kai announcement definitely has got me the most excited. I can see Sarah in the comments already. And that's if we made a TV show, How I Met Your Sarah, and Gord and a whole host of people, it would definitely be revolving around Cobra Kai. What about you, Rob? What's got you the most hype out of all those shows? And if you say Avatar, I'm going to be very surprised.
No, it's not going to be. It's my least. Well, I'm excited to see Game of Thrones, but I got to tell you that the Weird Al trailer just looks so much fun. Yeah. It got me I'm excited for that.
And now we have an excuse when that is going to drop. We have an excuse to watch UHF.
There we go.
Before that drops. So we're going to save it.
And finally, John, this news may not be exciting to you, my friend, but there are a lot of Doctor Who fans out there who were waiting for word on who would replace the current Dr. Jodie Whittaker. Her time is up this fall with her the final special she's done. Yesterday, Sunday, we got word that I don't know how to pronounce the name. I believe it's Nkuti Gatwa will take over the role and steward of the TARDIS, becoming the 14th Doctor and the first black male to play the role. Now, Gatwa is known for the Netflix series Sex Education, and he's only 29 years old, John, and a bunch of people online were really hyped that this guy was cast in the role of the Doctor. So he will debut as the Time Lord in 2023 under returning producer and showrunner Russell T Davies. It is the this year, I believe, is the 60th anniversary of the show debuting. And next year, I believe, is some special for the BBC in terms of some bicentennial or some I don't know, whatever it is. So the rumor is that this new series won't come out until next fall. But this is your new Doctor, ladies and gentlemen. John, I know you are not a Whovian.
No, sorry. Like I said, I never got into it. If we were talking Outer Limits coming back, maybe I would be like paying attention. But yeah, Doctor Who, I never got into it, and I feel like it's too late for me now. But new Doctor means new fans can jump on. I remember you mentioned someone that was in the running for it that I would maybe check out if they got the role. I don't remember who it was. It was
I don't remember.
Yeah. We'll have to go back and revisit the tapes on that one. But I was like, oh, really? If that guy shows up, then I might watch it.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was. Anyone in the comments remembers who was up for the running. But forward to the new Who. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well, right? And it's Russell T Davies was the one who restarted this series back in 2005. So I think it's pretty cool. We'll see what comes of this new era of Who. I mean, it hasn't been at its peak when Matt Smith was the Doctor. That was many, many, many years ago. We've gone through two different Doctors since then, and the popularity has definitely decreased. John, there was a time after Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi was announced as a new Doctor, and what they did is they had a massive build-up and then like a 1-hour special on BBC where they announced him with lasers and they brought up this curtain and he walks out on stage and everything else. And this was released on Twitter. So that just goes to show you, like, the level of fandom has definitely decreased in how they make these announcements. But
it used to be so big at the shop. It was like, Star Trek, like we'd have our diehard fans coming in every year at Christmas time looking for specific merchandise. It'd be Star Trek guys, Star Wars guys, and then Doctor Who was definitely up there on the list. And we had sonic screwdrivers and all kinds of TARDIS related merchandise and the big scarves and all that kind of stuff. And now I get maybe a question once a year looking for a screwdriver or something like that. So shout outs to that. Hopefully it returns to its former glory, but sometimes things just kind of explode at one point and then and it goes back to rest amongst its its fan base or whatever.
Well, that, John, my friend, is the news.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you so much, Rob. Thanks for all the updates. I was going to bring up some rumor stuff, but I think we're already at the 40-minute mark. So I think we're going to want to talk about our movie. We did wrap up the Moon Knight TV show. If you guys have been listening to the Heroes World podcast, we talked about that final episode. So you can check that out in the feed. Let us know what you thought of episode 6 of Moon Knight. Will you be rewatching it? Will you be looking forward to a season 2? Will you be upset if there's no announcement for season 2? I don't know. What are we going to do with this show now? Everything's in the air. So, if you want to talk Moon Knight, hop on over to that thing. And now we're going to talk about our movie. What's our movie this week?
I got the rundown for you, John. We are watching, or we watched, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Written and directed by Judd Apatow. The movie was released on August 19th, 2005. John, did you know that in Toronto, there was a massive storm that day that caused an Air France flight to kind of crash upon taking off out of Pearson and flooded the Don Valley Parkway? The only reason I know that, John, is because I got married the following day and it was a shit show. The movie stars comedy. No, the wedding wasn't a shit show, just the weather.
Whoa!
The movie stars modern day comedy giants such as Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen, Jane Lynch, as well as Catherine Keener, Leslie Mann, Romani Malco, and Elizabeth Banks in one of her first roles. The movie's budget was $26 million and pulled in $177 million at the box office. Now, this was Judd Apatow's directorial debut. He had been a writer-producer on a bunch of stuff, Anchorman, The Larry Sanders Show. He created Freaks and Geeks as well as Undeclared. Now, since this movie, John, he has written and produced Pineapple Express, This Is 40, Knocked Up, Superbad, Bridesmaids. The list goes on and on and on. The King of Staten Island is the most recent one with Pete Davidson. I shouldn't say that. The most recent one was the one on Netflix.
Yeah, the bubble, right?
The Bubble, I think it was called, right?
Yeah,
the most memorable scene in this movie, John, is the chest waxing scene, which we're going to talk about. But all of that was done in real life. There was no special effects, no makeup. The scene took 3 to 4 hours to shoot. And Malco, who played Jay in the movie, he actually did start to feel ill watching it, and he walked off set.
Even watching this, and we're gonna cut to a live feed. Fraser said he's gonna redo the scene for us because last week he was the only one who said he had enough chest hair to pull it off.
Right.
So we're gonna. Oh, okay. The live feed is not available right now, but we'll get to you soon, Fraser.
Critics and audiences alike loved the movie, giving it an 85 and 84% score according to Rotten Tomatoes. So, John, for a movie that is approaching 17 years old, does it hold up as a great comedy movie?
Yeah. So, 40-Year-Old Virgin. I feel like if we were doing this and we did a top 5 comedies, I think this would be on there for me.
Wait, top 5 overall, or just of like the 2000s thus far?
No, I feel like comedies, but then we'd have to explore the idea of what qualifies as a comedy. I feel like rom-com fits into a different genre. Although,
and we're back to our 90s action movie bracket.
Yeah.
That hasn't been completed.
But this also kind of goes into the whole rom-com formula as well. So it's really it sits in a weird spot. But overall, first question though.
Yes.
Did you guys in the rewatch, let us know in the comments, did you watch the Netflix version or did you watch your at-home unrated version? Because they are vastly different, Rob. I don't know which version you watched.
You know what? And I do have a copy on DVD, and I actually watched the Netflix version, completely forgetting that there was the unrated version is in the unrated version. The unrated version is on my shelf. I completely forgot about that. So I watched the Netflix version.
Yeah. So it looks like most of us watched the Netflix version. If anyone in the comments, if you watched your unrated version, let us know. But this Netflix version was missing a lot as I started to kind of go back. It's missing entire scenes that I think I watched this on DVD when it first came out. So I didn't go into theaters. So it's actually surprising that it did so well in theaters and it was this Netflix or regular theatrical release. Because like I said, that unrated version, when I was looking up the kind of like scenes that were my favorite, a lot of them are actually from the unrated version. So it's kind of funny. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying this wouldn't even crack there. I think Scott said it's not going to be in his top 5. Michelle said it's not going to be in her top 10. So upon the rewatch, the first little bit, I wasn't feeling it, and then it kind of kicks in maybe like 2/3 of the way through the movie, and then it just really turns into this kind of endearing character exploration, and all these people at the beginning of their career is really crazy to see on screen. So overall, I still like the movie. For some reason, I didn't laugh as much as I thought I would. Some of the jokes are not quite there anymore. Maybe a little bit insensitive, or maybe just kind of. I feel like most of the cheap shot kind of jokes, like they kind of just like come in, say something really funny. Some of those didn't hit as hard, but I question if I'd watched the unrated version, maybe some of those would. Rob, how are you feeling overall rewatching this movie? When was the last time you probably watched it? I haven't watched it since release, so probably 2005, 2006.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been that far back, but it definitely, 2010, 2012, like it's within the last 10 years or so. But I gotta say, John, listen, I remember laughing my ass off at the theater watching this movie. I remember watching it at home, killing myself. I got the unrated version. I would watch it. I thought it was hilarious. I'm a fan of Judd Apatow's work. I was a big fan of Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared. I still really enjoy this movie. However, I will say that I didn't laugh as much, which sometimes they say, well, if you've seen the movie like a handful of times, the jokes don't mean anything to you. But there's been a lot of good comedies out there that I still laugh at those jokes, even though if I've seen them a number of times, right? So there was still. I actually watched it with my son, and so he thought it was quite funny. He said he was laughing quite a bit, but he must have been laughing internally because I didn't hear anything coming out of his mouth, really. And then if he's like, "Oh no, I was laughing inside," that I'm a bit concerned. I think
you need to show him the unrated version and see if that amps it up. And a lot of people in the comments are actually maybe surprised or forgot that it existed. But a couple examples. There's an exchange between them and Mooj, the older gentleman. Right before the poker game. There's a whole exchange there that's not in this version. The whole Kevin Hart scene is cut very, very short in the regular version, and there's a whole bunch more. As I was kind of going through to try and pull like funny scenes, I was like, oh, it's missing this, it's missing this, it's missing this joke, it's missing this drop, and this is way longer. So shout outs to that. Rob, do you think you would have enjoyed the unrated version more, and do you think you would have laughed more at the unrated version?
Probably. I probably would have, to be honest with you, because there's a lot that's really funny. Like, I will say that some of the jokes and the themes like still hold up, right? Like, because I remember having those type of conversations with my friends. Listen, man, you can try to say, oh, I was a classy dude back then. No, we were all guys, all in our late teens and early 20s. We all talked like idiots. We all said stupid shit. And so I completely kind of related to those guys talking. And I remember like having those type of conversations. And, back in the day, kids, when you used to go to a bar and it didn't cost you like half of a mortgage, you would go and try to pick up girls and this and that. You would have these silly conversations with your friends. Like, so all that stuff kind of hit the nostalgic button for me. I was like, yeah, man, I remember that type of stuff, right? It was just, I knew somebody who fit every archetype from this movie. I knew like the Seth Rogen type guy. I knew the Paul Rudd type. Like, so it was like, really, really funny. I also kind of appreciated, John, Steve Carell's collection stuff, right? Like, because from that time, when I first came out, I didn't have any of this stuff, right? And now I've gotten back into it in the last 10 years or so because, well, I have an income and I'm able to kind of splurge very, very little bit, but enough to like say, hey, I like all this stuff. I want to get back into it. So it's really funny to see like all this stuff. And like when they're having the conversation,
I thought it was crazier. It's like a small closet, right? I thought it was like his whole. Like there's little bits on his whole house, but it's actually just a small closet with a couple of shelves and then there's like a big shelf across the top. I thought it was more extreme.
Well, I thought it was extreme. It was over everything. I mean, there was stuff in the background. I thought it was a lot everywhere. I was killing myself laughing though at the $6 million man when he's like, is that the $6 million man? I was like, that's his boss, Oscar Goldman. He goes, nobody has that. Why do you have that? He goes, it's worth a lot of money. Like it just.
It's actually a funny situation that happens when those auxiliary characters become worth more. He states it in the movie. So the $6 million man, $6 million man would have been mass produced and everybody would have bought that. But his boss, Oscar Goldman, only a very small handful. I actually checked this price on eBay recently. A lot of people are listing him for around $500 plus Canadian. And actual sold auctions, I'm seeing around 300 something, but who knows who's looking for this right now. If they announce a new $6 million man movie or project, you'll see that type of stuff skyrocket. So I think they said he sold his collection for almost like $1 million or something like that, or $500,000, which makes sense. A lot of the figures across the top, which they started wrapping in the foam later, they were all mint. And when they crushed them rolling around on the bed, I was like, ooh, that's going to really affect the value.
Sarah asked when I remember touching my first bag of sand. Oranges, Sarah. Bag of oranges. Yes, now we're getting into a $6 million man. Man, I thought that this.
So Rob answered the question. Shout outs to Michelle. Yeah, unfortunately, that might be the situation. These 4 actors back in the day made like nothing. So hopefully they got some copies of their collectibles to resell.
But yeah, so like from that perspective, it made me laugh. I thought it was hilarious. I also thought it was quite funny. The whole box of porn thing that Paul Rudd drops off, like that shit made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because, okay, like I used to do this thing, where I would be in an elevator, especially with my sister-in-law. I would be in it and I would say, what? And she goes, what? I said, I'm not going to make out with you. And she's like, what? And like, so it always made me laugh where it was just like, seeing Paul Rudd drop, and he's screaming out. It's one of those, it's a bit, John, that I love to pull on people. So
yeah. A lot of the bits, like when they're going, like some of the jokes, they do have a dated aspect to them. Some of them don't hit as hard. But it actually fits in with the theming of the movie. Some of these guys come off as kind of like idiots and bullies. So it's like, what the fuck's going on? But
better than a crate of oranges, Sarah.
Yeah. But the back and forths, the way they kind of play back and forth, is really good. Like when they're playing the video game and they're kind of bantering back and forth. One of my favorites was if you're checking out in the line in the grocery or whatever, and then you turn to your friend as you're walking away, and if the cashier is kind of like looking over at you or whatever, you go like, so did you ever get convicted for that or what? And then you just kind of walk away and the person's like, what? What are you talking about? But should we dive into our favorite scenes then?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, man.
Or I don't know if you want to play a game, Rob. I pulled the ages of a lot of the major actors and performers in this. Do you want to guess some of their ages at the time of the filming, or do you think you know most of them already?
Oh, Sarah, you got me. Yeah. So let's play the game.
All right, so I'm going to run through. I just grabbed a couple because there's so many people in this movie that I started going. Okay.
First of all, and Sarah, thank you. I appreciate it. This is not the forum to be offering your services, but continue, John.
Okay, folks. So if you have your guess as to how old these performers were at the time of the filming of this movie in 2005, drop them as I announced that we're going to give Rob a chance to. I should have brought a writing utensil. I'm just going to be able to say wrong or right. So Steve Carell, first of all, main star of the movie. Was he in fact over 40 for this movie?
Yes.
Do you hazard a guess to how close or how
I think he was 42, 43.
Yeah, 43. Yeah. Bang on. Yeah. Okay. So the love interest, Catherine Keener, who I feel like I haven't seen her around in a lot of movies.
We just saw her in the Atom Project.
Oh, who is she in the Atom Project?
She was the lady at the. She was the lady at the end who was. Remember, she was
okay. Was she the older version, or I guess she was both versions?
She was both.
Yeah. Okay. How old do you think she was in this movie?
She was. I think she was about 37 or 38.
She was actually older than Steve Carell. She is 46 as of the time of this movie.
Wow, she did not look it.
So,
good for her.
Yeah, so they actually they actually cast an older female lead, which is pretty cool. All right, the ageless Paul Rudd. I don't know how you can even ascertain this one. I think he hot off his run off of Friends into this movie and then into a whole new career.
Well, he did Anchorman before this as well, and Clueless.
Yeah. Gord's saying 60. Get out of here, Gord. not for him, for the female lead. Paul Rudd. How old do you think Paul Rudd was? Do you think he was under 40?
I'm going to say 34.
34. Close. He was 36. So Paul Rudd 36. Let me see who else was a big name. Seth Rogen. Okay, so that was a very young Seth Rogen in this movie.
What a weird mark on my head, John. What the hell is that?
From your hat? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, go on.
Rob's like weird divots in his head.
Like, what's going on? All right.
Yeah, Paul Rudd looks the exact same. When I watched Clueless semi-recently, he looks the exact same as he does now. So he could be a million years old, and he's just a vampire. All right, so Sarah's not liking my. Okay, let me just do a couple more, and then that's it. Yeah. Seth Rogen, very young looking dude.
Well, he is relatively young. I think he was 33 at this time.
Yeah, he was only 23.
That's what I said, 23.
Yeah. Minus 10. All right, your girl, Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, yeah, like 20, 21, 22.
31.
Shut up!
She looks amazing.
Seriously?
Yeah. Wow. Okay, just one more then. Kat Dennings. A very young Kat Dennings in this movie. How old do you think she was? Wow, bang on. That was crazy. Anyways. That's crazy. Shout outs to let's shout out the cast. I actually really liked Kat Dennings in this movie. I thought she was
I completely forgot that she was in it.
Yeah. And she made a really good kind of like the daughter character who wasn't quite just like an annoying teenager. I just thought she was actually really good in this performance. Who else do you like in this movie? Who from the kind of like surprise cameos? I thought Kevin Hart was going to be hilarious, but his scene was totally cut short in this Netflix version.
Yeah, the Netflix version, he wasn't really that funny whatsoever. And to be honest with you, John, I actually kind of forgot that they dropped the N-word that many times in the movie. Which, it's again, this is one of the hazards of watching these movies with my kid. And that happens. I'm like, ooh, like that, because I had the same issue when we watched Rush Hour. Right? Yeah. I was like, I completely forgot about it. So it's definitely it is a definite time. Like it's a different time, obviously now, and you're just kind of a lot more hyper aware of that. But I gotta tell you, the guy who played the old dude, I still get a kick out of watching him.
Oh yeah.
Man, I love that guy, man.
Yeah, a lot of his scenes are cut in this version, but he is still super hilarious. He's like the poker game when he like rage quits. He's like,
yeah,
what the fuck? You bring this guy in? He's a ringer, and he's like, F you, and then he like leaves, and they're like, see you tomorrow. And then the whole like I remember very clearly in the blooper reel. There's when he's rolling through all that like rusty trombone alligator F house, and Seth Rogen and I think everyone in the background is just like laughing their asses off, and they're just like keep going. Yeah, tell me more about this and that. So if you haven't watched the bloopers yet, 100% watch the bloopers in it. So yeah, I think he definitely stole the show. Sarah shouts out Jane Lynch. I thought she was pretty funny. Who else was really funny? Mindy Kelly was in this, right? From The Office, but very very short.
She played Paul Rudd's ex-girlfriend.
Very, very short cameo. But I'm trying to think of who else I really like. How about Jonah Hill? Jonah Hill had this like super short cameo where he's trying to buy the boots with the fish in them from the eBay store.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? Leslie Mann. So she was the drunk girl that.
Yes.
Now that's Judd Apatow's wife. And I gotta say, man, she is hilarious. Like when she does her cameos in his movies, I always crack up laughing because she is funny as fuck. So I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, she's the let's get some French toast, right?
Yeah,
She was in a run of movies after this, right? So,
remember this when they're on the speed dating? The girl's like, "Sup, my name's Gina."
she has like a whole speech. I wonder how much of it was written, how much of it was improv. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I haven't been with a man for a while. Time to jump on the old pogo stick." And then she delivers it with such a straight face.
You've got a really soft features, very feminine, which I think would be good for a transition phase.
Oh man, yeah. So definitely, I feel like a lot of people shout her out when you talk about this movie. So yeah, Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls. So a lot of people mentioning her. But yeah, like the cast is crazy. But let's talk our favorite scenes. So people, if you have a favorite scene in the comments, let us know. I'm gonna jump to a couple scenes that were kind of funnier on the rewatch.
Okay.
Or you know what? I've got a little bit of both. Okay, let's talk about favorite scenes. I'm gonna rattle off 3, and you let me know if any of them are your favorite scenes. Okay. So delivery of the box of porn. That leads into Lionel Richie's "Hello,"
right?
a great musical montage, absolutely perfect song choice.
I love the fact that he's lighting all the candles and he's just like he's really taking it. He's making a whole production of it, right?
Yeah. Hello. And then he ends up watching Everybody Loves Raymond, which is absolutely brilliant punchline to the entire joke. I do like the scene where she's about to come and pick him up, and the guys are like, "Look at this place," and then they empty the whole thing out, and she's like trying to get in. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm getting new carpet or something like that." Yeah. And the room is like stripped. It's like everything that was in the house is completely gone. Yeah. And then later the joke cycles back, and it's like, "You didn't get new carpet."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What? That came back? That's crazy." And then I really like. I actually kind of like the ending scene where he has to go get the girl, and then he takes off on his bike and he flies through the billboard. Yeah. And it's like this whole scene for this like thing, and the big climax is he flies through the billboard. But the funniest thing is when he gets up and he's like, there was 2 sides to that billboard. So and he's like, and they both hurt equally as much. So I don't know what everyone else's favorite scenes are. That is pretty hilarious. I do want to ask Gord, if you're ever in some type of biking accident. Steve Carell takes off his helmet. I was under the impression that you never take off your helmet until you get checked out. But let's go, Rob. What else? I'm just curious. I'm looking for people's safety here. Rob, do you have any other favorite scenes you want to throw on there?
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, everybody. I think if you were to pick one scene to show anybody who's never seen this movie to sell it, you're gonna pick the chest waxing scene.
Yeah,
I mean. That is by far hilarious. I think Fraser, you just put it up there. We need more wax. Cancel all my appointments. When Carell gets up and he's like, "Oh my god," and Rudd's like, "You look like a man-o'-lantern." Like it just makes me laugh, right? Like the deliveries on that.
I think I heard the issue was that the girl doing the wax was not. I think they call it like a wax technician or something like that along those lines. She was just an actress, so she was just slapping wax on and just pulling it off. Like if they got someone that actually knew how to wax, then I think it wouldn't have been a bad. And then you get the payoff with the blood on his shirt.
Well,
which is great.
I love this is one. Listen. I love watching Saturday Night Live. But one of my favorite things is watching people break. Right, like I love to see people breaking. And you can see there's a few times in this movie, including in that scene where they're breaking. Like you can see Paul Rudd is looking at Seth Rogen and they're both shaking their head. And knowing that that's all real, right? Like that whole thing is real is hilarious. We mentioned the poker scene, so I really like that. John, there is something about being in the back of the loading dock area, smashing the light bulb fluorescent tubes, because I've done that.
You've done that? The shards of glass that come out of those tubes looks really dangerous. And the powder that comes out is very shady, Rob.
Yes, so it's not good. You're not supposed to breathe.
It's definitely not good for you. No, because we would have to throw those lights away for the shop all the time, and then me and my whoever was helping with the garbage would look at them and go, "Hey, remember that scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that." Sarah shows out the scene with Kat Dennings and Steve Carell in the sex class, which was on my short list as well. That's a great scene with the guy with his son who's like, "What are you to do with your little Jufro?" and stuff like that. And
I like the book scene when he's in the bookstore and he meets Banks as well, right? And he's just like, because it's like those nuances of meeting people. Like this is pre-internet. Well, in terms of like, pre-internet dating, right? There was no, whatever, Plenty of Fish, Tinder, whatever that stuff, or, if you're Gord, Ashley Madison, like there was none of that stuff, right? Like, and so you actually had to go up and meet people in person. Imagine the concept. And so
that's like during their lunch break, I think, at work.
Yeah.
Right? Like what the
yeah. I like the fact when he's trying to sell the girl wants the VCR, and he's like, no, don't get that because it's outdated. He goes, this one's got a DVD, and she's like, oh, so it'll be good in about 5 years. He goes, yeah, about that. Like, it made me laugh having the.
Everything was so dated in their DVD VCR combo. There's like
the TVs, the big flat screen TVs, like
the TVs.
It's still like
there's jokes about stealing rewritable CDs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell blah blah blah. You're stealing all the rewritable CDs. I'm like, no one even uses those anymore. Like you would be hard pressed to find something like that. So yeah, there's like I think the chest waxing scene is definitely gonna take first place. But I really do like a lot of the scenes. There's a lot of like kind of clips that you could watch for sure.
Yeah,
Rob, do you think this is like the ultimate workplace movie, or does
Office Space
like Office Space?
Yeah, I mean,
or Empire Records.
Empire, but that's a cool one. But no, well, listen, man, I would never think of this as the like if somebody said, oh, a workplace or an office type of comedy movie, I would immediately go to Office Space with Mike Judd, who directed that one. That is like one of my favorite ones. In fact, my wife used to show it to her class, her careers class, near the end of every school year, because it was just so damn funny. So I go with Office Space, but yeah, no, it's John, you and I worked retail, so we have a certain appreciation for a lot of these, like whether it's like something like this or Clerks or any of those ones that deal with these retail outlets. And see like Empire Records, and there's a certain affinity that we could probably appreciate as opposed to people who maybe didn't work retail, who I did other things, right? So, yeah.
All right. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, Rob. Was there any other scene that just made you laugh? Like, do you remember what scene made you laugh the hardest? I'll tell you my line, and I think it was my favorite line from back in the day, and it still is now. And it's like when they're role playing. If Andy just tells her that he's a virgin, and he's like, so tell me you're a virgin. He's like, I'm a virgin. He's like, great, that is great, because that means that you don't have chlamydia. And that shit is everywhere. and then he's like, if she doesn't like it, then you punch her in the head. And then he's like, I'm not gonna punch it. He's like, an emotional punch in her head. So like, it's like, for some reason, that scene still gets me. We're in a whole Office Space area in the chat.
Now
that I think Office Space is going on the short list.
Yeah,
Rob, was there anything that just made you laugh hard that you can pinpoint?
I love the
old... a random pothole for no reason.
Right. Well, I love the old guy, like I said.
Yeah.
Talking to Andy about the different positions, but the old couple that lives above Andy makes me laugh all the time. Like that first scene when they're like, Survivor tonight? Yeah, we'll see you there. And then the guy goes, man, that boy needs to get laid. And his wife says, tell me about it, and it just, I don't know, the whole interaction just made me giggle. I thought it was quite funny. So
yeah. There's a scene that I didn't catch until the rewatch, and it's really funny. It's when the what's the girl's character's name? I forgot what her name was. I know the actress. Catherine Keener's character.
Yeah.
He accidentally crank calls her, and then she just goes so vicious. He's like, are you near a rooftop? Like, why don't you like walk off or something like that? And then at the end, she's like, F your mother or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why is she so hostile?
Because he was a telemarketer. He's like, hi. And he's like, hi. He's like, this is James. And like, wanted to sell you. And she's like, are you a telemarketer? Do you have anything better to do with your life? You get a better job. You'll blow your brains out. It was just so funny.
Just like, why is she going so over the top? So I don't know. I just remember
this was a time before air duct cleaning calls, John. So
yeah. All right. So shout outs to Idiocracy. I think that's another one that should go on the short list. I think that was I forgot who's in that. Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
Right? Luke Wilson. Dax Shepard's in it. Terry Crews. Like a whole host of people. I think I actually checked, and it's not really on streaming is the problem with a lot of these movies. But if you guys are down with watching movies that are not on streaming, anything else we want to talk about for 40-Year-Old Virgin? How did you like the soundtrack, Rob?
Oh yeah, man. It's
Age of Aquarius.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the name of that poster? Oh, an Asia poster when Seth Rogen was like, "You have an Asia poster on it." Did they make fun of you when you took it to get this frame?
How hard did they laugh at you when you brought this in or whatever? Like,
yeah. So that shit made me laugh. It's just funny stuff like that, man. It's just the Judd Apatow umbrella of films.
Mm-hmm.
They are fun to watch. Now, whether they will stand the test of time or not, I don't know. I did just rewatch Superbad back maybe in the fall. That for me still holds up. I still crack up watching Superbad. I think Anchorman is hilarious. Like, and it's been a while. I haven't seen This Is 40 yet. I know they're going to be doing a This Is 50 in the next year or so. But those movies, those guys, they just, I think it's hilarious, right? I'm a big fan of Seth Rogen's stuff. This Is the End and everything else like that. Like that is one of the movies I've probably laughed at the most. Is This Is the End, and that was produced by Judd Apatow as well, right? So his umbrella of these movies is far-reaching. So quite a big fan.
Yeah. I feel like the movie did overall. It's pretty good. Like I said, some dated jokes, but overall, the overall theme of the story, which actually just turns into a straight up rom-com.
Yep.
Chasing the girl, misunderstanding, has to go win the girl back. Type formula. It happens, but the character, especially Steve Carell's character, really works, and all the other guys are actually they might have been like really funny at the time, and even if their jokes don't hit as hard now, it's actually kind of like they're kind of all jerks. Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits in with the thing. But yeah, I don't know how many times I'm gonna rewatch this movie, but I think rewatching like the bloopers and all the other stuff and these actors and actresses interacting is a lot of fun. So shout outs to sketch comedy type things, which basically this is kind of made the norm to bring these guys in and let them go crazy. So shout outs to the end of musical number. So that was pretty funny in the theater. If imagine if you saw this in theater, I watched at home, so I was like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah, that's right. Have you ever seen This Is the End? You'll understand the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that clip. I don't think I've actually watched that movie.
Oh, it's funny. It's really funny because at that point you start bringing in Danny McBride into the mix, and Danny McBride is just freaking hilarious. So.
Yeah. Would you ever watch a sequel to this movie if they did what it's like in his life later? Maybe he has kids and they raise a family or something like that, or I don't know what.
I probably would, but I guess you could say like a spiritual successor was Knocked Up, right? It came after, so which is I remember laughing my ass off watching that movie as well. So
for some reason, I don't remember finding Knocked Up as funny as this. But maybe it was. I think you have to be in a certain mood to see these types of comedies too.
Yeah.
So shout outs to that. I don't know if a sequel. I think reuniting this cast definitely would be a thing.
Yeah.
As long as they don't kind of like phone it in like I really felt like the bubble was phoned in. So.
That's right, Sarah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think I've laughed as hard at a movie in a long time as I do when I watch that one. So. So that's it, man. That is the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I'm happy we went back and rewatched it, John. I think it was fun that we went. That's a Kevin Smith movie. I think it was fun that we went back and watched a comedy, man. Do you want to tell them what's on tap for next week, buddy?
Yeah. So next week we're gonna keep it light. We're diving into the summer. It's gonna be June.
I still have my winters on.
Yeah. I got to take care of that too.
It's May 9th. I still have my winter tires on.
Yeah, it's been that kind of year. So I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. if you were lucky, you had one car that you didn't change the tires at all, so you can just start running that one. So yeah, we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do, what we're excited for this coming summer.
Summer releases,
like a whole bunch of movies coming out, a lot of stuff that was delayed and is finally back on track, and we want to know what you guys are excited for. So bring your list of most anticipated summer movies, and then we got Top Gun right around the corner. So I feel like we're gonna do some you guys are dangerous type stuff. You guys are dangerous.
Yeah. So as John said, we've got the summer releases. We're limiting it to just movies. I know there's a bunch of TV shows people are excited for. We've talked about a number of them. We know that the month of June is hella crazy with the Umbrella Academy, The Boys, Ms. Marvel, For All Mankind. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming out in June in terms of television, but we're sticking strictly with movies for the summer. So John's going to have his list. I'll have mine. We'll talk about what we're most excited for. And yeah, in 2 weeks, John, it's hard to believe we're finally going to get to see Top Gun 2 Electric Boogaloo. And so time to dig out your copies of Top Gun, because I have a funny feeling we're going to be watching that in the next week or two. So
yeah, do I dig out my old Laserdisc, or do I upgrade it to Blu-ray? I don't know what I'm going to do here. But yeah, some people still haven't seen Top Gun. I feel like the original. I talked to a lot of people. They're like, I've never seen Top Gun back in the day, which I find bonkers, but that's fine.
I showed it to my son about a year or so ago, John. We were still in lockdown, so a year and a half ago, and he actually quite enjoyed it, and he's stoked to watch the next one. So I think that's for a movie that was filmed in 1986, or came out in 1986, and he quite enjoyed it still. That's a good sign. So looking forward to that. Steve, don't be giving us your selections now, man. But I am looking forward to Bullet Train. That looks
Bullet Train, Staying Alive with Brad Pitt. Yeah, Sarah, I don't know. It boggles my mind when people are like, I haven't seen Top Gun. I can understand some of the younger cats. But yeah, I don't know.
In all fairness, though, this is also the same guy next to me here who hadn't seen Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So
whatever that Doctor Strange thing was.
He works in a comic book store. He runs his own comic book store.
Someone has to keep the gears going. But yeah, shout out to Sarah. Yeah, we do want to have a pizza party or some gathering. I miss y'all guys. So yeah,
maybe sometime later this summer.
Yeah, this summer. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you everybody for sticking with us. Hopefully you had some laughs with the rewatch of 40-Year-Old Virgin, and all the other random stuff we covered. So yeah, Blu-ray release. Yeah, True Nerd Bros. Yeah, talk about it. Days of Thunder versus Top Gun. Top Gun wins for me.
Yeah.
Although Days of Thunder is a ton of fun as well. It's essentially the same movie, I feel like.
It is. And now I'm going to go watch Days of Thunder.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen 12 Monkeys, Gord. There's a big blank spot in a bunch of movies, because I think it's because I was juggling the Hong Kong movie scene at the same time. So I was watching a lot of Jet Li, Jackie Chan stuff, and I just skipped out on a lot of other stuff. So yeah, anyways, we can hang out with you guys all night. So thank you again for joining us. It's always a blast. Highlight of the week for me. Thank you very much, Rob, for sticking with me as well.
Yeah, man.
And we are going to see you guys next time.
Next Monday. Looking forward to it. Next Monday, get your movie list ready, and don't forget to call John and get your last couple copies of Uncanny Volume 2.
Yeah, Uncanny X-Men, as Andre likes to call them, Kill Man editions, because those things are hella heavy. I don't know. You can read it at night, like above your head. And
if you can't take it to the if you can't successfully take it to the bathroom, you can't and read it. You can't be reading it at night in bed. It's not going to work. So, all right.
But